Welcome back to KickBack. I hope that you enjoyed the interview with Sick Not Sick. I can't say it again.
Sick Not Weak.
Thank you, Michael Landsberg. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Aiden. I really do. Thank you. I can't get my words out. I don't know why. But welcome back to KickBack. We hope that you are enjoying the show so far. We're going to be going all the way until 9 p.m. We've got individuals sharing their personal stories, organizations discussing the services that they have available, and then we also have self-care strategies being provided by many professionals. And then also, which we've started today, is asking everybody kind of what their self-care strategies are that they use personally. So we're very excited to have Richard Adair in. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys having me out.
Yeah, this is going to be great. We really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
do you want to share a little bit about what you do? And now I'm drawing a blank. Friends and Advocates Peel.
Yeah, sure. So I work for an organization in Brampton called Friends and Advocates Peel. A program that they offers something called the Consumer Survivor Network of the Central West LHIN.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who's unfamiliar with what LHINs are how the province funds healthcare in Ontario. Mm-hmm. So my role in the Consumer Survivor Network is that I create networks of mental health consumers and family caregivers within that LHIN that come together, and I generate conversations around the services they're receiving.
Yeah.
I kind of present as the voice where decisions are made about the healthcare services that are provided and funded in the Central West LHIN. So I kind of am the in-between person. So I worked in Friends and Advocates also on the service side in frontline work, but the Consumer Survivor Network is a little more up my alley simply because I'm a consumer myself. So part of my role is I actually have to be a mental health consumer.
Yeah.
And so it's a platform that I have experience in because I've accessed services since I was in I've been accessing it in youth, but I didn't actually get introduced to the system until I was 20. So yeah, and so that's kind of, when you look at Brampton, I kind of provide networks within Brampton, Bramalea, North Etobicoke, Dufferin, Bolton, Caledon.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, you will find that the needs in each different community are very different, right? If you're in a city where there's access to transportation and food banks and lots of health service providers, service is a lot different, the experience is different, versus if you're accessing service in Orangeville where there's very limited services, very limited access to transportation. So yeah, that kind of gives you an idea of some of the things I do. That's kind of what my focus is.
Nice. So what are some of the challenges that you see when you're working with the different consumers?
First of all, I think the biggest challenge is trying to help them understand that I'm not a professional. I mean, I have an education, but the reason why I'm able to do the job that I do is because I use the service. I see a psychiatrist every week. I've been in inpatients, informed, and I have all kinds of understandings of where the system doesn't work. But because I don't look like I have a mental health struggle or a challenge, people associate me with being a politician or just because of that LHIN's attachment. So I find with my network it's a lot of educating them on who I am, and then really trying to form relationships for them to understand that I'm here to be their voice. And I find that bridging that barrier, if I present as a professional, I automatically put a wall up between somebody that I'm trying to help. If I present as somebody with lived experience, the wall evaporates because all of a sudden I'm no longer a threat. I'm somebody that they can understand and relate to. So the conversations then start, and the conversations can be all kinds of things. It's really about making somebody, the group, feel safe enough to share. So I don't generally invite health professionals out, because people are not going to feel comfortable sharing about the services they're receiving if their service providers are sitting in a chair beside them, right? And then I can get a conversation going and start to see, okay, what are the central themes in this area that people are talking about? Lack of housing, affordable housing, lack of access to food, and perhaps bad experiences in the emergency department when going to the hospital. I can gather all that information, and then I can try to present it in a way that the LHIN and health service providers can take that information and start to formulate some services that work a little bit better.
Make the change.
Make the change, yeah. So those are some of the experiences I have where the challenges are really about getting people to come out and feel safe enough to share about what they're actually experiencing. Yeah.
Now, is it something, can individuals reach out to you to talk to you, or is it mainly meant as like a group thing where you have an event and
Yeah, I encourage people in that area. I mean, I focus specifically on the Central West LHIN, right? So anybody in that area can email me at any point or call me in the office. I'm gladly have a conversation. The information I provide to the LHIN is not identifiable, so I never attach somebody's name. You know, so-and-so said this. It's really just, this was brought up as an experience that should be taken into consideration. So I provide that barrier. I'm basically that voice where I take away the fear of sharing, right? Because you don't have to identify yourself. I take your information, I look at what the LHIN is working on, and I try to take what I think is important to feed the system. And it really is, yeah, that's kind of what my job is day to day. I do other things outside of that. I also do recovery writing, helping people understand how to take their story and put their story somewhere. And whether they choose to share it with somebody or they choose not to, just understanding how their recovery process worked, you know, because I'm still recovering myself, right? I live with mental health every day. Sometimes I have good days, sometimes I have bad days, but at the end of the day, I know what I need to do in order to stay well. And I think that's how I'm fortunate to be where I am today, because I really believe that I lost my voice when I was 20, and this position allows me to be a voice for everybody that's in that area. And I think you need to be in the driver's seat of your recovery, right? So I identify as a consumer. It's an interesting word, consumer survivor, because I believe that when I receive care, I should be receiving care the same way as I would if I had knee surgery, which I did. Just because of mental health doesn't change the fact that I'm still accessing service. Somebody's being paid to provide me with a service. I want to be treated with dignity. I want to be heard. I want to have input into the services that I'm receiving. And I shouldn't leave feeling worse than I did when I went in. So,
now, is with your previous mental health, and actually I'm going to pass on that because we've got a minute left. But what are some self-care strategies that you use?
For me, I reintegrated by playing ball hockey. I'm a huge hockey fanatic, so for me to get back into my community was actually joining something that I loved as a kid. And for me, it's really important. It helps me to de-stress. It helps me to feel connected to people that have commonality, and I would encourage anybody, you know, find something. It doesn't have to be mental health related. There's so much out there in life that you can be connected to that will give you meaning, and my kids and my family is really important. So
that's amazing. Well, thank you very much for coming on and sharing with us. We really appreciate it. We'll definitely have your information attached to our live so that we can, so people can get in contact with you for that area that you have. Again, we do really appreciate it. We're coming up on a break. So when we get back, it's not going to be Aiden and I sitting here. It's going to be Matt Joniak and Tiffany Martin. So we're really excited to have them come on and work with the guests that are coming. Continue the conversation. If you're watching online, please share the video. We're aiming to reach as many people as possible, to get our voice out as much as possible, to continue to create those conversations and really have that snowball effect and just keep it going. So thank you again very much for joining us today. If you're struggling with today, please spend it with us. We're going to be here until 9 p.m. So I think we're coming up on about the 2-hour mark. So we've got another 10 hours to go. So we're going to break now. We'll see you soon. It's just funny listening to the we're going to break. Okay, that's actually good. And then it's all set.
The following program is brought to you by Rogers Anyplace TV. Enjoy exclusive content for free. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.